Okay, I wrote this paper on emotional intelligence slash perception and how that equals survival. Okay, I'm not a great reader. Bear with me here. I usually just try to wing this shit, but I'm gonna read this because it'd make more sense. Okay, when a parent or someone is in a parenting role that cuts the child down, calls them stupid, or tell them that they won't ever amount to shit. Not on top of that, like the physical abuse thrown in just to keep you on your toes. It tends to rewrite the way the child thinks, and they question themselves and their surroundings. The parents who are emotionally unavailable, like they're there but they're not there, or can't understand the way a child sees the world because of the different style of thinking. Parents often when their ego or they don't understand their emotions will often resort to cruelty or will just watch and accept, like watch the other person do whatever and accept it, the fact, and not step in. Okay. This is basically what happened to me, and I just noticed that it's the same with everybody basically, but some kids don't get out of this next part. Like so there's three things that can happen. First thought one is there you can bring all their like thoughts and shit inwards, and it's constantly like, here's the part that gets missed. Okay, as there can be a different outcome depending on the situation. A lot of children in this situation can collapse inwards. Okay, they bring their thoughts inwards, and then when they will like start thinking like, there's got to be something wrong with me, like nobody else, there's got to be something, like what's wrong with me, why am I like this, what's wrong with me, and they'll like shrink themselves or just avoid people to avoid conflict. And like what happened to me, that forced me to pay attention to people's faces and their tone and everything that they're not saying, right? Read between the lines. That's what it in the end. And then so they have self-doubt, basically overthinking to the point where they think something's wrong with them. People who collapse inward care deeply about what others think, mainly what others think about them. And the child that turns outwards, when the child will turn against the world, that's when behavior easily can be mistaken for confident behavior. And confident behavior can turn into controlling behavior or worse. And this is what I was talking about before. When they turn their thoughts outwards, they can be mistaken as confident behavior. Okay, and they'll emotionally shut down, perform tough. They'll like perform as toughness, so they don't show their emotions, or they don't act like emotions matter. Right, kind of thing is confidence. Difference is that people that are confident, they'll talk about their emotions. People that aren't, they'll run and hide. Okay, so feelings, and they don't want to get hurt, so they avoid. They'll push others away when feelings start getting involved, right? And then they'll like walk away to avoid the consequences or to avoid even talking about it. Okay, the child that projects outwards stops caring what others might think about them, but only on the surface. Underneath, they're just projecting their feelings that they never got to express as children out towards the world and like hating on everybody. So it's one or the other. And then there's the rare fact that like they use both of these together and become emotional perception or whatever the fuck. Okay, sometimes intuition will get added into the mix. What happened with me, like, because I was constantly trying to find out better ways to be a person so I could fit in, because I was fucking put down, man. Okay, sometimes intuition gets added in here, and then often perception will gather that, like, with me, like, I just have shit in my head, and it'll just gather fucking data, and then everything will click, and then it'll just be like a wave of fucking human behavior, like 20 years, all at once, and then I'm writing for days, right? That's what it's. You have like the inner gut feeling, like when I was a kid, like that inner feeling, that gut feeling, like that subconscious or whatever. Most people suppress that subconscious and they try to like push it aside, but like I didn't do that. I let that fucking thing guide me, and now it's like my best friend. I hold that thing's hand all the time, right? That's what it seems like. Like we're partners now. So when I write, like it's like almost like I'm talking to my subconscious, and we're like bouncing ideas back and forth, kind of type thing. So like I'm super in tune with my emotions, and the thing is that when you're in tune with your emotions, you're basically in tune with everybody's emotions. You can understand everybody. It's really hard to explain. Like I try, but like watch kids, man. Like I said, watch kids, watch the faces, watch everything. Like yeah. So here we just got one more page. Here's the thing that others don't. Some can feel and see stuff in humans no one else does. It's just like for instance, like when a mechanic listens to a motor, right, and they can hear something off. I can do that with people, but it's like instantly. Like when I walk into a room, it's almost like I can feel the vibration of everybody change instantly, and their breathing slows down, or like the words that they don't say. Like words go in order, and if they're not in the right order, I pick that shit up instantly. It's a curse, actually. Fuck. So when you are unable to separate, but this is where it can get like if you're unable to separate your emotions from other people's emotions, because when you get like me, like I couldn't do it for the first while, and then I became an alcoholic because I could not figure myself out. Like I couldn't separate my emotions from other people's emotions, and it spiraled into just basically unfiltered emotions, and I became an alcoholic. And that's what can happen too. People need to be aware of this. Like alcoholism is not a problem, it's a misunderstanding of your own feelings. Stop admitting that you have a problem. That's the problem right there. Anyway, I hope that helped someone. I should have just winged it.